Thank you, everybody, for being patient. We're going to go ahead and get the meeting started. I'm going to go ahead and have Heath get us started with this. We're going to go over a quick presentation of the Brazos specialty program, and then we're going to go over a presentation of how to submit through Appulate. Heath, if you're ready, go ahead and take it away.
Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. My name is Heath McCaslin. I'm the marketing director for Brazos Specialties long-haul trucking program, also known as White Hill. Today, I'm going to kind of just go over what we offer and kind of give you a quick rundown of what we're looking for, what we're not looking for, and just kind of a brief synopsis of kind of what the programs look for and who the carriers are for your reference. I did speak to David. Pretty soon when you go into Appulate, you'll be able to hover over our profile and get access to this one pager, which has 90% of our underwriting guidelines on it. So this is a very helpful tool in your day-to-day operations. I'll start with our programs that we have, starting with number one on the screen, our preferred program. That program is written through accredited surety. The majority of the quotes that you're going to get from us are going to be through our standard program, because accredited surety in the preferred program requires they be in business at least 2 years. They can't have any more than 2 SMS alerts, and all drivers have to have at least 2+ years experience. Those requirements right there are going to put most of the accounts that you see in the long haul trucking 0 to 10 units or 10 to 25 units into the standard program, which is written through Sutton Specialty or Sutton National. Both carriers are A- rated by AM Best with the financial rating of at least 7 or better. The rates in the preferred program can start as low as $10,000. In the standard program, the rates can start as low as $14,000. Our next program is our third program for all new ventures, and all new ventures will be written through Sutton Specialty. Those rates start at $15,000 with experienced drivers. We do require drivers in that program have at least 3+ years of DOT experience. We verify that by the CDL issue date on the MVRs. So when you send an account through Appulate, it's one of the things that I look at is how long, what kind of driver experience do we have? And that kind of tells me which program that we're going to have to utilize first. Underneath that trucking liability program box, you'll see our availability by states. So we write in almost every state except for in the Northeastern Territory, then excluding Alaska, Hawaii, and there's some other caveats in there as far as what's available. Submission requirements, as long as you complete everything that Appulate, all the required fields in Appulate, your submission will upload to me. If it's an account I feel like that we can write successfully after I review their cab report, I'll reach back out to you directly and ask you to submit loss runs. If this may be required, if they don't have enough inspections on their cab report for us to review, and we can work from there. What we do write, we write long haul trucking, hauling general freight only. We define long haul as operating out of the state they're domiciled at least 60% of the time. We verify that by their IFTAs. So Texas can be kind of a challenge because you have somebody operating from Houston out to El Paso, and technically by ISO definition that's long haul. But if they're operating within Texas, that is primarily intrastate, and we're looking for the true interstate truckers. We write the guys that are operating, hauling dry van, reefer, and flatbed. As long as there's no oversized, overweight, just your general freight. I like to tell people that it's the stuff that you can buy at Walmart or Target for the most part, maybe Home Depot, just, no flammables, etc. that would require it to have a hazmat filing. We can write everything, next bullet point, from your single unit operators. Our largest account has over 350 units. So we can write a variety of accounts for you. We write owned and owner operators. So if you've got a truck owned, but you've got the owner's not driving, we can exclude the owner and still write the account. New ventures, as mentioned above, they do have to have at least 36 months experience, and we are not writing new ventures in California. 10% of their mileage can be in the northeastern states. That's where we cut it off. So primarily New Jersey up, no New York, no Maine, Vermont, you have none of those states. So pretty much New Jersey north, we don't write. So if they've got 10% of their mileage based on their IFTAs in those states, then we're not writing it. Prohibited operations, there's a whole list there for you guys to operate. We don't do auto haulers, we don't do boat haulers, we don't do straight trucks. So if you've got any mixed fleet or box trucks in that fleet on your schedule, we can't do it. And that includes light, medium, and heavy trucks. I see Chevy trucks, the big heavy ones, and the Ford F-550s being submitted. We can't do those. They're not considered tractor trailers. I don't care what their GVW is. That whole list of prohibited operations, really when you're looking at an account, if you can scan over that and then compare it to the insured safer on their commodities that they list on there, that takes care, save yourself some time and don't submit it, because I don't have any exception on that. On driver guidelines, our minimum age on any driver is always going to be 23. We don't make exceptions on it. And the maximum age is 75. I mean, all you guys can read, it's, all drivers 65 plus require a long form medical DOT, and all your guys 65 and up must have clear MVRs. We don't do international or B1 drivers. And again, just like on the mileage, 10% of your driver's schedule, you can't have guys, licensed out of New York or New Jersey. If that exceeds 10% of your driver's schedule, we won't do it. So if you've got an account with 2 units and you've got a guy based in Florida and a guy based in Jersey, we kind of look at it as that guy in New Jersey is probably parked in New Jersey and operating out of the Northeast. And that's just part of underwriting, and that's where we just cut the line. Driver guidelines are program specific. We provide a copy of the driver guidelines with every quote that we issue. So you guys don't have to worry about when you're looking at MVRs on an account after you write an account with us, is this guy eligible or not? You and the insured will have a copy of that. And once you submit through Appulate, the submission hits my desk, which is almost instantaneous. You'll hear from me within usually 2 business days max. A lot of times I get to them the same day and will at least respond and tell you. Sometimes I can provide an indication, and sometimes I tell you, we need the loss runs and IFTAs, or I may have to question the driver's MVR. And again, 90% of the time, or probably more than that, you're going to be hearing from me directly. So that's kind of my spiel. I don't have a whole lot more than that. Like I said, this flyer will be available on Appulate's website coming soon. And if I were you, I would just, if you're using it frequently, I would just download a copy of this and keep it on your desk, because like I said, this will cover 90% of the questions that you have about eligibility with Brazos Specialty. So with that, I will turn this back over to David and let him present and show you how to submit through Appulate.
Thanks, Heath. All right, everybody. That was a good presentation. Hopefully everybody understands. So let's go ahead and move forward here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a walkthrough for Appulate. So we're going to go on the assumption that you've never used Appulate before. That's how we're going to start. Most of you probably have, but just in case you have not, we're going to go to the very, very basics here. So let's go ahead and close this. So if you've never logged into Appulate before, you'll start here. You'll get a screen that looks just like this. You'll click Login. Now, most of you that have been that have joined today will have credentials in the system, but there's a very select few that may not. So what I recommend first before doing anything else is trying to forget your password if you've never logged in. You just simply go here, type this. Now, if you don't get anything in a few minutes, then you don't have an account. But if you do try to create an account down here and you've got an existing one, you'll go through all the steps and it'll tell you there's an existing. So I really recommend doing the forget password path first. But once you've got those credentials, it makes it real easy to get into Appulate. I'm just going to go ahead and log in now. And so once I log in, I'm brought into here. Now, I talked to Heath prior to the meeting, and I know most of you probably won't use Accords for this, but I'm going to show you the software in case you do want to use Accords to bring into here. It's part of our features that we offer here. And the tool we're going to use is called Uplink. So here's Appulate Uplink shown right here. And what this does is this reads Accord level data off of your Accords and bridges it into the Appulate system, which we're going to demonstrate in just a few minutes. So just all you got to do is just choose your agency management system. If you have one, if you don't, no big deal. Hit the download Uplink driver for Windows or Mac. It'll recognize what you're on. You'll download this, you'll install this, and once it's done, it's going to give you some really powerful features, which we're going to see in just a moment here. So once we've completed that, we can go ahead and just move this out of the way, and then we can open up the Accords we're going to use. So I've got 3 Accords here that I'm going to use for today's demonstration. So I can select all 3 Accords that I want to bring in. So I've got 3 here. I'm going to hit right click here, and I've got Windows 11, so I can expand it out further. But now that Uplink driver is shown right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click Uplink, and it's going to ask me those credentials that I just needed a minute ago. And I hit send. And now what it's doing is it's sending this data to the Appulate system through my account. And so close out this other window. So now it's reading those Accords right now. So it has completed those reading those Accords. It has recognized this as a commercial auto. So I'm going to hit continue. Now, if you didn't do this, what you would do, so if you didn't bring an Accord in, what you would do is you would log into Appulate, and the screen would look like this right here, and you would just simply click Create New Insured, and you would just walk through the steps of creating exactly what we've done here, manually entering the information in. So you can do it either way, it doesn't matter. Since I did bring those Accords in, we're going to bring it back into here. Now inside here, I've got my insured's profile. So if for some reason, let's say the data was wrong, I can simply edit this, but it looks good to me. So let's go ahead and move forward here. I'm going to click into my commercial auto quote right here. Now the first thing I need to do is update my effective date since these are a little bit older Accords. So I'm just going to move it to tomorrow. Okay. Now the next thing I need to do here is I need to go find markets. So we need to find Brazos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type Brazos in. There we go. Now it's showing me 2 because I am an Appulate employee. So I'm going to use the testing today, but we're going to show you guys both here. So what you would see is you would see the Brazos risk incorporated, which is what you would select. But I am going to select the testing just so we don't move another quote onto the production for them. So we're going to hit start quote. First thing you see here, it's asking me for the DOT number. We're just going to go ahead and enter whatever that would be. And I'm going to follow down through here. So I've got my effective date. Now, if you notice up here, we've got little 1s and 12 and 1. This is required questions, right? So if I have questions that Brazos specifically needs answered that I haven't answered, that's where these are going to show up. So I can go down here and look for the little red asterisks. You know, as you see here, MVR. A couple other things we can do is we can ask our insured for these type of questions. So let's say we weren't ready for some of these questions and we want to just, instead of phone calling the insured, we want to send the insured an email to get those answers. We can do that by just clicking Ask Insured, typing in their name, whatever their name is. I'll just put something in temporarily. Okay. Now I can go through here and I can select the questions. So I can go through and see, like I have the MVRs in red. So I could, let's see, I want to do these, right? Let's say I don't want that question, but I want that one, and I don't want these. You know, I can select whatever I want. And what this will do is this will send a link via email when we get to the end of it here. So as you see, it creates an email automatically from me to my insured with all the questions, with a link right here. It says using this link. They'll simply click the link, and they're going to get a preview. Do all that stuff out of the way so I can show you guys here. Let's go back one screen. Yep, gosh darn it, went all the way back on me. I apologize. But anyways, what'll happen is it'll allow you to do a preview of those questions before you send them out. And then when your customer receives those questions, they simply answer those questions, and then they're able to re-upload them back up into the system. And that is going to enable you as the agent not to have to manually fill those questions back in. So it just is going to speed the process up substantially for you. Okay, so we're going to assume that we didn't do the Ask Insured. We're going to continue finishing the questions. The other thing, if you're going to do these manually, there's the Show Required Questions Only. If you notice here, there's quite a few questions, and this would take, you know, it's a little bit to read through which ones are required, which ones aren't. So I can hit the Show Required Questions Only, and it really shortens this down to just those required questions. So I'm going to do a dummy document here for this. Dummy doc here. So you, of course, would want to upload the correct MVR. I don't have one, so I'm just putting a dummy document in for now. But we need to go through these questions. And here's what's really nice. So if I answer no to this question, the questionnaire is smart enough to realize that this will be declined because this type of cargo is not eligible. So I need to be yes. So it's going to give you instantaneous feedback as you go through this, if it's declined or if it's approved. So a lot of the initial underwriting has been scrubbed so that when Heath receives this, he's not having to reject you from an application, right? Now, there could be other underlying indications, of course, but this is at least just, making it so that you guys aren't wasting a lot of time trying to figure out what will and will not work. So here's another one, right? So this is what he was mentioning before. Is it an interstate hauler? That's very important to them. We'll say no here. Again, it needs to be yes. Okay. So is it team driving? We'll say yes. So it looks like declined because of exposure, not eligible team driving. So it needs to be no. Okay. So as you can see here, I'm just going through. Okay. More than 25%. Eventually. Okay. Yes. Okay. File insurance history to effective date. So I need to add a new record. 2024. And this is what Heath was mentioning earlier, these loss runs. We're going to be eliminating this shortly here. So you can just manually upload these. But for now, it's going to require them. So we'll get this changed soon for you guys. And then I need to add a new record for 2024. Okay. What was the date on that one? Touched on it. You can see it's a little bit of finagling here to get these dates just right. That 3. Okay, I'll just put 23. Okay. Come on. Dates on this one. Sorry, everybody. I'm trying to get these dates lined up right here. Okay, this out. Okay, here we go. No, I got to do the effective. Okay. And then I'll just do what is the current one here. All right, we're going to come back to that one in just a second, everybody. Sorry about that. Okay. Looks like this is and this one up here. Nope. Oh, here we go. Commodities. Okay. The commodity, so we'll say is 100%. And of course, whatever combination you do here needs to be 100%. We got to do coverage history and market conditions. What else do we have? Which is coverage history. Okay. And then you add. So what you have to do with this, it's a little tricky, but if there's any gaps in coverage, you have to fill it in to say there was gaps of coverage. So for me, I'm going to put 2024 in here and get that filled in. This, unfortunately, is the disadvantage of using an older cord, is you've got to fill in these newer dates here. Gosh darn it. It is not. I was looking.
And while David's doing that, I'll step in and just say the power unit account on the past history is important because like we were looking at the program number 1 earlier with accredited, it does require a loss frequency of 20% or less. And we do that by the number of the trucks, number of losses combined over the total of how long they've ever had coverage, whether it be 2 years or 5 years. We do look at loss frequency a lot heavier than we do actual loss ratio. So if they had a hefty loss back in 2021, but they've been running pretty clean until now, we'll still look at the account. Where we do have problems is if they've had a hefty loss experience in the most current term or the previous term. And then, of course, if we still have open bodily injury claims, it's always an issue for us too.
All right, everybody. Sorry, I'm fighting with the loss history here, so we're gonna just summarize this just to 1 year, just so we can push this through quickly. All right, we just kill it all, and then we're just gonna add one new record here. Uh, 2024 SVT. 2025. There we go. All right. It is just not making me happy here. All right, I'm sitting. Nope, it's just not going to let me do without several years. Can I just do?
David, just change the business start date up there in underwriting.
Yeah, up here, effective date.
The business start date, I think is what it was yelling at you about.
Is that? Oh, hold on here. Once target auto liability. Yeah, bill insurance history from the business. Oh, okay, I see. Gotcha. Where's the start date? Sorry if you're wasting your time, everybody. These lost dates get a little tricky.
If anybody has any specific questions after we're done with the webinar, email address to reach us. I can distribute those if I've got my hands full, but you can reach us at marketing@bsrinsurance.com. Those emails come to me anyway, so if you forget my email address, you can just email marketing@bsrinsurance.com, and I will get those emails and I can respond to you that way.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
It's today's date, 24. There you go.
Yeah, it's still not liking that. Even though the effective date. Oh, there we go. Nope. Not the real paper. Okay. There we go. Again, apologize, everybody. Like I said, these, as everybody knows, lost run dates are no fun for anybody. All right, so we went ahead and we've submitted this officially over to Brazos. At this point, Heath and his team will take a look at it, and they'll get back to you typically within 24 hours. I know Heath checks Appulate daily, if not every couple hours. Anything you want to add to that, Heath?
No, that's fairly accurate. I mean, if we've got like a holiday or in there somewhere, or just a rare circumstance we don't get to them, but there's no more than 2-day turnaround time. I'm looking at it, but he's right. For the most part, I'm in there several times a day, making sure that no new submissions have come in. And even if the effective date is, I mean, you can put them in there if you want, up to 60 days out. probably even go further than that if you wanted to. They're probably not going to get cleared in our system until 60 days out. But if you want to go ahead and get a jump start on a couple of renewals, go ahead and plop them in there. I'll take a quick look. And I always just jump in cab. First, I make sure that we don't already have the submission. And then I hop into cab and just look at the account and do a quick review. If there's any red flags on there, if there's anything just glaring that makes it an account that we absolutely can't do. Or sometimes, you know, when you're looking at an account and you look at their safer, or you look at safer.gov and then you realize that they haven't even applied for their authority yet, I can't work on them until they have. So I'll just bounce back and let you know that, and that's something that they can work on before we get too close to the effective date.
That's great. All right, everybody. Well, I guess this will we'll be able to wrap it up for today. Does anybody have any last minute questions that we want to answer? Otherwise, you know, you can always ask your questions directly to Heath. Let me bring up Heath's slide again here real quick. And,
DSR Appulate flyer.
thanks, Heath.
Yep.
There we go. So this will be Heath's email address shown right here, marketing@bsrinsurance.com. Feel free to email Heath directly. You can email me directly if you have any problems with the Appulate system. My name is dking@appulate.com. I don't believe my agency is appointed yet. How do we get appointed? Great question. Baker, go ahead and email this email address shown right here on the screen. Heath will get you started and all set up.
Yeah, what I'll do is pretty much just email this same flyer back to you. There's an agency profile attached. Real quick for anybody that has that same question, because that does come up frequently after these calls. We are not doing any new appointments in California currently. Other big items: must be in business at least 2 years, and have a strong focus on trucking that's verifiable through your website. And outside of that, and if you don't meet those requirements, that doesn't exclude you from submitting through Appulate. You have access to the same programs our directly appointed agents have, but the only difference is really you have access to auto liability only through Appulate. We can do some other lines with a direct appointment, but that does require a direct appointment. We just obviously don't want, you know, we don't have the capability of appointing every trucking agent in the United States. I think that's what everybody's wish would be, but that's the best way to do it, is just email me there and I'll bounce you back an email with that summary, and then you come back and we move on from that process.
Great. All right, and no additional questions. So at that, let's go and wrap it up. Did you have anything else you wanted to add before we end for today, Heath?
No, just thank everybody for their time, and thank you, David. I know you're a little under the weather, so I'm sure that's probably not helping with focus.
Yep, it's definitely.
But no, I appreciate everybody's time as always. And again, any questions, feel free to email me directly regarding underwriting. Anything regarding the Appulate system, just please direct those directly to David, because I probably can't answer those for you. And outside of that, everybody have a good week.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate your time. Have a wonderful day.